All right, ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me good, Lost? All right, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all see me swinging, in here, it's a fly guy in here, and I can't stand flies. And so y'all see me swinging and knocking shit down, it's because a fly done got in my personal space in here, and I'm gonna kill him because I see him right now floating around here. All right, so guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for being here for Flipping Tables podcast, man. We're excited and just can't hide it. We're excited about the show tonight. I got the velvet voice of YouTube himself in the building tonight, guys. One night only. Lost in Translation is in the building. What's going on, my guy? And how you feeling?
Feeling pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Man, doing absolutely fine, brother. Doing absolutely
fine. Good.
Now, I want to bring up these guys while lady while we're here. I don't know AC. I don't know AC. But we'll figure it out. Everybody have to have their cameras on, so whenever y'all ready to come up, turn your cameras on, and we'll get y'all in here. All right. Coach Ferg is back there, and this is back there. When y'all ready, just flick your cameras on, and I'll bring y'all up. AC, what's going on, man?
How you doing?
Good. Let me see. All right, let's see who we got. Anissa's in the building. What's going on, girl? Bring that camera down so we can see them lips.
What's happening, Anissa? How you doing, darling?
Doing?
Good.
Good. You too.
Welcome to now, AC. How did you find out about the show?
Through the Facebook group that we have.
Hey,
group that we're in.
Okay, absolutely. Mm-hmm. All right, I got you. All right, Coach Ferg, whenever you're ready, brother, I'll bring you up. But anyway, we got a great show for you guys tonight. Flooded Dreams, Burned Promises, a deep dive into stolen Black wealth. A lot of people, I'm going to jump right into this thing. And welcome to the show, AC. And this is so good to see your pretty self. Oh, my God. I can't stand you, but you're beautiful. Listen.
Thank you so much.
But I want to say, if you look at the history, I think we all going to be on the same page tonight. But if you look at the history of Black people, and the one thing that makes me cringe is hearing the boomers. I can't wait till our plane get here. Hearing the boomers say, we're tired of hearing the excuses. We're tired of hearing people pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, today I was watching a documentary that just made me cringe. I was watching Surviving Lake Lanier. And in Lake Lanier in Georgia, Lake Lanier was a promising town, just like Tulsa. And I was looking at it, they said they had 5 churches, 25 businesses. They had 50,000 acres of land that belonged to Black people. And they said even when poverty was striking in Georgia and nobody had food, their ground was so fertile that it gave them so much food, abundance of food. And they came in there and accused 3 Black people, and 2 Black men and a Black girl, of killing a white woman. They hung all of them. After they hung them all, that's what they did. The Army Corps of Engineers came in and flooded it. To this day, if you're an experienced diver, you can go under there and still see the cars, the trees. You can still see the trees. The trees are still standing straight up. The trees, the church, the foundation of the houses. Like they just flooded it, man. All that money, all those people. And now that land is producing $3 billion a year for Georgia. Now imagine, because when they bought the land, all these Black men came together in 1912 and bought 50,000 acres. Can you imagine that passed down from generation to generation? And it's populating $2 to $3 billion a year. What would that do for Black people? 10 families bought 50,000 acres. Those 10 families, the descendants of those 10 families, those descendants of those 10, oh my God, can you imagine the wealth that Black people would have in Georgia right now? I just want to get y'all thoughts. I want to plant the seed there, but I could not believe what I was hearing today. And I don't want to hear no other Black person say to me, Black people need to get over it and pull themselves up by their bootstraps when I seen $2 billion a year go down the drain because they stole it. I'm not trying to hear nobody else say that. I'm waiting on Arpain to get here. But y'all go ahead. What are your thoughts? AC, you're your first time here. What are your thoughts on when you hear that? Because there's so many other places. We'll get into that later. But there's so many other places that went through the same thing. But what are your thoughts on the surface level of what we're talking about right now?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It seems like it's another thing of, just trying to not wipe out, but kind of like overlook our history, and it shouldn't be looked at as minute. That's something that's not minute. We were prosperous in the land that we had before they came through and false accused, like they've done plenty of times before, and then they feel like the justice for that is taken over. Like it's happened, like I said, multiple times, and that doesn't have to always be the answer. And the point of it saying we should get over it, no. Stuff just it's different nowadays, but some stuff is still similar, that happens today. It doesn't go so far as a mass killing or taking over something, taking so much at one time, but it's similar things that happens today for sure.
Trey, I know Coach Ferg, I know you probably, I said Trey. Coach Ferg, I know you probably listening in the back. So I'm gonna get to you in just a second. But Anissa, what are your thoughts on Black people having that type of wealth snatched from their hands in Tulsa, snatched in the name of the place, y'all, was called oh Lord, it escapes me right now. It escapes me. Oscarville. There it is. Oscarville, Georgia, no longer exists. They flooded it to the point where the town name doesn't even exist. and people forgot about it for years. And they had a bad summer, and the water started to drop. And people say, "What the hell is that? Is that the top of a church? What is that? Wow, let's look into that. What is that? Why are buildings under the water?" And people start researching and say, "Oh shit, this used to be a black town, very prosperous, very money-making black town." And they put all that good fertile land underwater for white people to go out and swim in. But you know what? I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna move on. Let Anissa cook. Ever since that happened, they say even the graveyards. You know how they supposed to come in and move the bodies before they put the water in there? They didn't do nothing. They covered the graves, everything. And you know, if you have slave graves there, you can't do anything with that land. They have to respect those bodies in that land, and they didn't. They flooded it. They didn't care, and so now every year people that get in that water, a whole bunch of them dying. Oh, they got 9 to 10, 12 of them dying a year, and some of the people that survive say they feel like people are pulling them down. They feel like people are jumping on their backs and holding them down under the water. But go ahead, and this.
Well, learned something new tonight because I wasn't familiar with what you just talked about, BMU, so I have to read it and research it myself.
Mhm.
But I don't think that we can deny the tragic losses that we have had as a people in our history. There's no denying it. You can't deny the impact that it has had, and it's sure a huge reason why we as a people and as a culture are so behind other cultures. But I think I guess the bigger thing is we know that that's a part of our history. Life has never been fair for us. It never will be. It's never going to be. So I guess the bigger question that I have for us as a people is, what are we going to do to combat it? What is it going to take for us to come together? You see, there have been so many other cultures that have had tragedies and things done against them as we have, but for some reason they're able to come together and stay together and build and support and keep their communities together. And it's just always been baffling to me why that's something we struggle with so much in our community, considering everything that we've been through. We know what it's like to be Black. You know, we know what we've gone through. So, how are we going to pull it together? How are we going to get it together and become one? And you know, is that just a dream? Is it just impossible? Um, to move forward. You know, what was, we can't go back. It's not going to change. We can't undo it, but we got to figure out a way to move this thing forward. And that's what I have to say.
All right, we'll go to Coach Ferg and then Lost in Translation. But before you go, Coach Ferg, you know what, Anissa, I don't think we can. I think if, like right now, if Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos went check their account and that motherfucker said zero balance on all assets, liquid and or not, I don't think that Elon Musk could shake back. I don't think that Jeff Bezos could shake back from that type of loss if they lose everything. I mean, I'm reading it right now while y'all was talking. They said all the towns that are prominent towns of Black people, and it's a lot of them, y'all. It's a lot of them. We already know about Central Park. They kicked the niggas out of Central Park and made it. It used to be another town name. We'll look it up in a minute. Central Park, and made it a park because they said they felt like New York needed a park. So they took a prominent town and just wiped them out, hung them, lynched them, and all this value. You know how much Central Park is worth? Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
And so my thing is right now, they said that we're looking close to, as a people, as a business and small towns, close to $1 trillion right now since 1912. $1 trillion loss for Black people. We'll never be able to shake back from what the motherfucker stole from us. Never, 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 never. I don't know nobody can take $1 trillion hit and shake back. I'm talking New York, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi. These stores are everywhere. Listen. Earlier today, I almost got emotional. Earlier today, you know how you go down a rabbit hole when you start looking at this different stuff? I went down the rabbit hole. They just found right here in Texas, not in Dallas, Houston, they found 96 bodies in a mass grave. 96. Guess who it was? It was a village of black people who owned the land. They refused to leave. They killed them all, threw them in a big ass hole. When they dug them up, they still had the chains around their bones on their wrists. 96 of them all relatives from the age of 14 to 70. Now, how many generations was that? And guess what they building on that land that they stole? A motherfucking school, a big ass school. Now imagine if that land was passed down from generation to generation, and you could lease that land to the state for that school. How many of your family members would have generational wealth? I'm telling you, we'll never be able to shake back. Go ahead, Coach Ferd. It just pisses me off. Let me mute. It pisses me the fuck off.
Salute to everybody. How y'all doing? Miss Anissa, thank you. How you doing today? You know, you about the prettiest face up here, these little ugly niggas. But anyway, you know, BMU, you know, I'm gonna say this, man. That's why I'm proud to be black, right? I love being black. I love everything about us. I love the way we walk, talk, the way we stand. I love everything. I love the women. I love everything. Toes, hair, fingernails, I love everything about a sister, right? And that's why, you know, when I look at the ancestors and what they endured, this old soft shit we going through, man, I don't give no dude no grace in it, because the information is a beautiful thing. The more that comes out, I think nobody can have an excuse going forward. The solution is going to be the individual. Once you gain knowledge, you have to move into knowledge. You have to move into knowledge to some point, because if not, you're going to keep standing still. You see the world is still moving forward. Yes, as a group, they ain't looking at us as a group, because we still sort of deleting each other. We the only race in the world that really fight each other at a high rate like that. Young brothers. I ain't talking about old, ugly dudes. I'm talking about young, 20, 24, 30. That's been our story for the last 40 years. I think it's a different movement in men as far as getting in front of themselves. You know, a lot of people don't give themselves an opportunity. I didn't go through what my ancestors went through. They was just coming in, taking the women. They was coming in, taking the man. That's why we live in this society now, because but it's unfortunate, man. I think the power that they had, they worked together. Some would call it struggle love, but they was millionaires, and we still can't even be a thousandaire. They were saving money. The men, the young boys, they were working. They were proud of their rag clothes. We go out, we spend money to help people subjugate us. We don't sort of tap into our own talents. You know, I think as far as the future, again, I think all parties need to sort of step back and reflect again. We realize we wasted 10 years of our lives in our 40s. That's too late. This is America. The world is great. Open up. My last thing, it's great. The United States is going to be a different world in the next 4 or 5 years when the Olympics get here. People come in here with money. And if you young and you ain't trying to get your grind on, and you ain't got your documents up to par, you're going to be living over on the other side of that fence. They're going to make sure you ain't going to be no degenerate out here no more. No more handouts for brothers. Get out here. We can't never catch up, because y'all live a soft life. Y'all buying Jordans. They had to walk with no shoes. So it's all this crying about but now is the time. So if you get information, move on to information accordingly. Stop being afraid to live. Can't be afraid. The world is yours now. If not, get out of these young folk way, because y'all niggas in their way.
And I'll say this too. When it comes to the black on black crime and black men killing each other, listen. That behavior was not self-taught in our community. We didn't teach ourselves to do that to each other. The most violent and vile men on the planet, even according to the FBI 2 years ago, the most violent man on the planet is a white man.
Of course, that's been in the history. They
And
conquer
if you go read, so that's why it's important for Black people. When you go read those Willie Lynch letters, me and Laws talked about this before. When you go read them Willie Lynch letters, and he put the formula how to make niggas kill each other. You take the yellow skinned niggas, the lighter complexion niggas, and you put them in the house and you treat them like royalty. But you do it in front of the dark skinned ones that work in the field. For they will resent each other. And in that resentment, they will hate each other, and they will not focus on the oppressor, but they'll focus on the things they're not getting amongst each other. And so now the light skin is killing the dark skin hate the light skin niggas because they in the house with the master.
But BMU, it wasn't so much the complexion, it was more the age. It says it specifically. Turn the young man against the older man. Destroy the older man in front of his wife and his children, and she will coddle the boy to overprotect him. That's the biggest issue. It's not the complexion; it's the young and the old. Turn the women even sometime against their own daughters. Women, they understand the mind. They can. Women yeah, it's all bad. But again, it's not so much the complexion because we come in multi-complexions. We all got the big nose and big lips, so it don't matter what complexion you are to me. It's the mindset on how we sort of we do the work for them. We fight about frivolous shit. We fight about the most minute stuff and make it 20 years of our lives. And a lot of people are waking up 35 like, damn, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. But when they wake up, they still afraid to move on that. We got people out here with no children talking about the world ain't shit. I ain't gonna find no husband, I ain't gonna find no wife. You ain't never tried it. But they still walk around and going to the same club shit since high school. You have to be willing to change your environment sometimes. Just a little bit. Change your friends. Every friend ain't going through the whole life with you. It's in the Bible, every friend didn't go through the life cycle. So sometimes you gotta be your own love yourself. And people don't love you, you gotta learn how to cut their ass off. Because most of them ain't doing nothing but begging from you. Still got people. Listen, fellas, you got friends still begging at 30. You think they really hard workers? Come on, man. Don't waste time with people like that, especially today. I'll shut up.
I agree with Coach. But I kind of disagree with him too with the complexion thing. Yeah, that could be something that's not as big, as what the real issue is. But they mentally they were doing that to us as the Black community. They were saying like the light skinned women were more desirable or more beautiful than the dark skinned women. The same thing with the guys. I do agree with the age thing because we're going to get the most in their mind. They were going to get the most out of the younger guy. Obviously, even though the older guy would have more experience, they were going to get the most out of the younger guy to do more and be around longer because obviously he's younger. But like I was saying from the top, I do agree with you with the saying of that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is us as a community coming together and figuring things out together instead of always being against each other.
Yeah, I'll say this too. When Black people are killed, that the whole dynamic of the violence against each other. I'm gonna say this scenario. Say, for instance, you have two pit bulls, and you raise them together, brother and sister. And you feed them together at the same time every day. You give them what they need. You nourish them, water. You walk them. Then all of a sudden, the next month, you take a little bit away, and you take the two bowls away and put one. Then after 2 weeks, instead of filling that one bowl up, you put it half of the bucket of water. You know what's going to happen? When you start minimizing that half, that brother either going to kill that sister or that sister going to kill that brother. Why? Because you've taken the resources away from them to survive. That's it. That's exactly what's going to happen. In the Black community, when you have food deserts and you have people living in fucking housing and you tell people they can't do better when they on Section 8, they can't do better. You can't, if you make $15 an hour, your ass is going to be on the street. So we're going to keep them confined in spaces. And when those young boys look across the street and they say their mama done paid all the bills, they look across the street and they hungry and they see the other dude across the street bringing out 8 bags of groceries out their car and they hungry, they're going to go take it. Because that's a means of survival. They're going to go over there and throw hands. They're going to go put that gun to his head. Hey, nigga, give me that bread. That's what happens. It's a crab in the barrel mentality that Black people have, that we always in the mindset of survival. Lost, I'm gonna need you to control what you just said to me. Okay, can you do that for me?
Do what?
Can you control it for me?
No. Before you do whatever it is you about to do, I'm gonna say what I got to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Listen, I am not a fan of people who ignore the past.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of them.
I'm not either.
I'm not a fan of people who misdirect the issue at hand. I'm not a fan of it, because when you bring up people like that, man, they never ever have a solution. All they say is we're living in the now and we're doing this and we're doing that, but they never have a solution. Well, my thing is this: sometimes you got to learn from your past.
Yep.
How did they break us? Now, here's how you fix that. Now, seeing how they broke us because they were allowed to police us. Now, if we have our own police force, then we don't have to worry about nobody else coming and destroying what we already built. That's the first thing you do. You have to protect what you got. Second of all, you have to protect your image. You can't worry about, what other people say about you, but you can protect your brand. That's one thing I've noticed that other successful groups have done. They're not going to let you come out and put any old image or say whatever it is you got to say, so you can't economically compete with the rest of the world. So if you can't control your own image and you can't police yourself, you're already in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Number 3, you're going to have to remove all the naysayers and get them out of the way, because those people should not have a louder voice than the people who are actually doing the damn work. Those are the people we need to make sure that we give no breath to at all. Because if you're not rolling up your sleeves and you're not working, get out of the way. I don't want to hear anything about no black on black. No, strap up and handle business with the people who burn down your buildings. You see what I'm saying? Talk about those people. Quit being a coward. That's our problem. We don't know how to do war properly. Instead of us going after the people who tore down our stuff and burned down our stuff, we're going to turn around and say, well, we got to fix that black on black crowd. That is the most cowardice thing I've ever heard in my life. And I don't care who get mad about it. That's your problem. You let anybody walk up to you and slap you, and you'll turn around and you'll point the finger at your brother instead of educating them. That's the issue at hand. That's the problem that I have. Number 4, you have to make sure you educate people on the things that actually work. Quit moving out of your own area. There's people who actually protect the land that they're own. That's there for a reason, because it's theirs. You don't run to somebody else's plot of land and then call it your own. You take care of your own stuff. That's the reason why people have borders and boundaries and say, this is our land. That presents an element of pride to say, this is ours. That's the only way you're going to protect it. Claim it, own it, cultivate the land. That's how we always have done it. That's how anybody has always done it. Because owning the land also teaches you knowledge of the land. Nobody knows your land better than you. You know what you can produce. You know what you can offer everyone else. That is how you do it. Now, lastly, the last thing you have to do is you have to make sure that you educate your people in the ways of what everybody else has done. You have to make sure that you understand your reproduction. You have to understand how banking works, create your own monetary system, how you do business with everybody else. And the last one, you need to learn how to make war. How else are you going to make sure you cultivate everything else if you don't know how to war right? We need more warriors and instead of worriers. That's our problem. As long as we stay focused on what other people say we should do, we would never accomplish what we need to do. Black man, I'm done. You can do whatever it is with the rest of with the podcast you want to do. I've already said what I said. Anybody else want to come in and dilly dally and push the food across the doggone plate? You can do it if you want to. I didn't say what I need to say. And if you got a problem with it, I'm gonna be right here to the end.
All right, listen. I agree. I think that when it comes to what white people did to us, I'm just gonna say it raw. We some bitches. We allow them motherfuckers to listen. We, for the longest, just think about it. Well, I used to have a lady on the show. What was her name? Oh, I can't think of her name right now. But she said it happened to her in Georgia. She said they went into their great grandmother's house that's been passed down for decades to different children. And they was going in the attic. They was looking through stuff. They found a little old box, a little safe or whatever. So they going through all the paperwork. And they're like, I know damn well you fucking lying. It's a mall built on the land that belonged to her grandmother. They ain't contacted her. They did, what do you call it? When the domain of
eminent domain
on the land. So she went with the paperwork, got a lawyer. Now that mall is going to be paying that lease to them for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
But how many other black families have been fucked like this? And
listen,
nobody's saying nothing. We sit here and don't say a fucking word. We just
But
allow these motherfuckers to
BMU, first of all, BMU, not a lot of us know this is new information that a lot of people are just coming privy to. That's the thing. See, it's some old heads that kept a lot of that information from us. They got into those positions and they didn't share it like they're coming to take over your community. It's happened all over the country. You can get the states that are highlighted, New York, Atlanta, but it happened from coast to coast. It's starting to come out. But again, the solution is once we get the information, as an individual, you got to be ready to move accordingly. Then as everybody grow, the minds will change. Then the like minds will start coming together and work together. We still having problem with brothers working with brothers of the same age. Sisters working with sisters of the same age. That's a big an issue. And yes, because we can tap into these other places now that we wasn't tapping into before. We can't say I don't want to go into this space. It's wide open. Other people are going to go in. They changing the rules and the regulations that is just not going to be isolated for one person. You have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone. No brother should never say, I don't want this. Go get it. You have to in this new time. You have to.
And I hear that. But imagine if he didn't have to say, go get it. Imagine if he owned the land and people was working for him.
Listen, I can imagine that. But I can imagine that, however, there's a new avenue for brothers to gain that generation going forward. I give more homage to the people before me than any of us modern day, easy working, easy going people. We the most overweight, lazy people since our ancestors got off the boat.
Well, you know what? Hey, put the money in my fat hands then from what you burned down. How about that?
But at the same time, everybody ain't working as a collective. Everybody say we're not a monolith. So that means obviously we ain't gonna work together. So, but if you a person, an individual, and you got opportunity to change your life, you do that shit. You do it. Don't think about it till you get on the other side. Yeah, it seems scary, but you do it. Don't stay around what's not moving and say, help. No, go get it and then turn around, which I would hope brothers that do, because I said all the time, then go back and help those ones that you know are still trying to fight
while you working for the people that stole your shit.
Yeah, infiltrate. It's called infiltrate.
And this is the point that I'm making. When I told you I went down the rabbit hole, y'all, I went down the rabbit hole. It's been on me all day. It's heavy on me today. I saw that. I knew about Tulsa, but I saw Lake Lanier, and I saw all those people that they killed and hung and strapped up in those trees and took that 50,000 acres of fucking land that's worth billions of dollars right now. And then on top of that, What's the one that? Oh, Silver Dollar Road. There's a place in South Carolina called Silver Dollar Road, guys. And on Silver Dollar Road, the great grandmother owned the property, and so they would bring in all of the seafood and all of the fish, and those white people would come in and lease parts of those docks, and it was making buku money. And a black family owned all of it.
You can only get there by boat.
The white man came in and took all this shit. The documentary on Hulu came in and took every piece of that shit, and the two uncles, surviving uncles that were owners of it, that it got passed down to, they stood their ground. They said, we not moving a fucking muscle. We got a lawyer. We're not fucking moving. You're not coming on here with no bulldozers tearing down these fucking houses. My great grandmother lived over there. We got a village over here. All this belongs to us. Here go the paperwork. Guess what happened? They called the police. The police came and got them, and they were in jail for 10 fucking years. They went in as 48-year-old men, came out as 58-year-old men with canes, gray hair, and they still don't own this shit.
What did I tell you earlier?
They took their fucking land from them, and we come out, pull yourself up out of bootstraps, and this fucking land was passed down from his great-great-grandmother to his grandmother to his mama's mama, and they took it.
What did I tell you, black man, about the police? Policing your own people. Listen, let me ask you a question, black man. Do you actually think that they would have been able to pull that off if we had our own police?
Hell no.
Exactly.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I swear to God, I put this on my children. If that land belonged to my grandmother, I'm going to be on the news. I'm going to kill a bunch of people. You're not going to come on my grandmama land and take shit. I'm going to kill up me and my brothers. They ignorant. I will kill up a whole motherfucking gang of them. But you're not finna, we're going to go down swinging. You're not going to take what my grandmama and my great grandfather didn't work hard for. You're not. No, I swear to God. I can't. Ain't no bitch in me. You're not finna come take it. My grandmama got land right now. I wish a motherfucker would. And I put that on everything I love. I will fucking go. I will snap. Because I know my grandfather. I remember the story. My grandmother's 94. I hear my grandmother telling us the stories, how she had to straighten hair and sell eggs out the chicken coop to fucking pay for the fucking land. And you mean tell me I'm just gonna let a white man come in and just tell me, oh, this belong to us now? Oh no. I'm sorry. I'm on mute because I'm passionate about this shit. Oh hell no. No, I'll kill up a whole bunch of bitches. I swear to God I would. I would not let my grandmother suffer that. Like that man did.
You can't mute, man, because you mischaracterized me. So I got to come up here and defend myself.
I ain't mischaracterized you.
Yes, you did. Because I never said that the past doesn't matter. That's just bullshit. I can't say.
You said we need to get over it.
No. Well, that's not the same thing.
I think what he said. Go ahead, Darpain. Defend yourself. Go ahead.
Let me just. Yeah, I'm not defending myself. I just want to set some shit straight. We got to be informed by the past, and that's what you're doing, right? We could be informed by the past, but we got to move in the future. Right. So once you're informed, then you can say, okay, I know what they did to me. Right. And so that's why I said, what's next? I always say, what's next? What the hell is next? And that doesn't mean I don't believe that we got fucked over. And I'm the same motherfucker who says I don't believe in reparations because I don't think they could ever repay us. They can't repay us for what they've done. They just can't. So, okay. So what do we do now? What do we do now? So Lit was saying a few things on what we should do now. That doesn't mean we forget the past. I just say, we can never get to what we should do because we spend so much time talking about the past. I think a lot of us, we don't know all the intricacies of all these things you're finding, and there's probably so much more than that. I mean, we didn't even talk about when they did the purge in New York, when they went around killing all the blacks in New York. I forgot how many years that took. They killed a lot of black people back in the days in New York City, in Manhattan, and so on that purge that went on. I mean, there's a lot of, history shows that man has been brutal to man, especially the white man has been brutal to not only every indigenous people, but even to themselves, right? So, so they don't have no qualms about doing that kind of stuff. So we got fucked over in this country. So I'm just saying, all right, so we're here now. I think that if we started to build another collective where we had land and thriving businesses, I think that we would have that fortified enough. Kind of like the Jew, that wouldn't be able to take it as easy. Not in the modern day. They wouldn't be able, because we would have media, we have social media, we could have our own police, we would have all kinds of things that would guard the things we own. The first thing we have to do is begin to work together to do those kind of things. Right? I mean, that's the real key. How do we begin to love ourselves as Black people when people keep constantly telling us how fucked up we are? You know, and I'm saying, so the point really is, it's not forget the past, it's be informed by it, but don't stay there, because we can't stay there. It's not a blanket. It's not. We could, it becomes an albatross. You know, so that's all I'm saying. So I don't have all the answers to solve it. All I just know is that we got to have an eye towards the future, and every so often we look in the rearview mirror. Every so often you look in the rear view, so you can try to make sure you don't make the mistakes that leave you vulnerable that happened in the past. And that's the best I can say.
Now, I want to read something, then Scam, you can go. It says here, I'm going to get my reading voice on here. It says, in the United States, Black Americans have experienced a significant and systematic loss of land, particularly farmland, over the 20th century. Key figures. Peak ownership in 1910, Black farmers owned between 16 to 19 million acres of farmland. Let me say this again, because if we still own $19 million of farmland, goddamn, Black life would be better, wouldn't it? It would be amazing for Black people to still own 19 million acres. That'd be amazing. I don't know how much that is of the United States, but that'd be fucking amazing. It says 19 millions of acres of farmland, which represented the highest point of Black land ownership in the United States. In 1910, we own way more than the white folks. You knew that wasn't gonna last. Lost through 1997, Black farmers lost 90% of their land after becoming the highest point of Black ownership in the United States. They took it. It says current ownership today, Black Americans own less than 1 million acres of farmland in as a U.S. farmers today.
Yeah,
that's a 18 million acre loss. And then, so let me get this part out. It says a conservative estimate puts the value of lost Black agricultural land at approximately $326 billion a year. $326 billion annually of the lands producing that was owned by Black people that they took. So I'm thinking, if in Georgia they had 10 families by 50,000 acres, but they say Black people altogether collectively own 19 million acres.
Right.
So Black people own 19 million acres, and today, if it's passed down from generation to generation, and it's producing $326 billion a year, I don't think Black people in the situation we in today.
Well, I mean, yeah, BMU. You said Scam got to go talk, but BMU. Let me ask you: Do you think that the way things have happened since the '60s to break us up as a people, Black people in particular, kept us from thinking about how we used to work together to build those collectives? Do you know what I'm saying? They were under the common pressure that we were under back then, brought something out of us to make us, maybe out of necessity, but we had to work together. We found ways to trust, build conglomerates and shit like that. And now, since the 60s, we've been conditioned to almost be our worst enemy. We know women hate the fuck out of us. They say it all the time over the goddamn internet, right? And so how do we rebuild a collective so we can guard against those kind of things again? So we got like from the 60s to now, we have a generational thing that has to be rebuilt. Yes. And that's the thing that gets fortified all the time, right? I'm looking the wrong way. I got to shake my thing. But that's the thing that got to get fortified all the time. Refortify so we can start to understand that even without the pressure of the common white man back then, how do we get back to the mindset that built those conglomerates? I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I wanted to say something real quick. Piggybacking off of our pain for Scam. I don't want to cut it to his time, but what we can do, two things we can do to begin the process of making a change first and foremost to all be on the same page. Um, Ever since like the '60s when they first broke us up, like Art Payne was saying, it's been an issue with gatekeeping, which I hate. We had to stop gatekeeping. When Lost in Translation also said that being educated, it's a lot of educated black people, but we have to stop keeping all the information to ourselves. And in terms of what Coach Ferg said, Coach Ferg also said that we need to make sure that we um, are able to talk to each other and to listen. The biggest thing is listening, and how it's hard for young people and or young men and young women to be able to talk to each other to a certain extent because nobody wants to listen. Everybody wants to be heard, but nobody wants to listen. Nobody's listening. Now they're arguing, and that's how everything starts going downhill. But first and foremost, we need to stop gatekeeping. Second, we need to be able to listen and apply what we're learning.
I just want to see the meeting where we all sit down as black people and we say, guys, because I'm still reading here. I'm over here I'm just at a loss for fucking words. I just want to see the meeting where we sit down and say, hey, Lost, R. Payne, AC, and Nissa, Coach Ferg, Scam. Our ancestors and the people before us, we want to rebuild what they built, but we want to do it better. All we got to do is buy up a lot of land and make up this $1 trillion loss we lost. And I want to see the motherfucker who come up with the plan on how to get us that $1 trillion back. I want to see it. I want to see the person in 2025 who's going to sit down in a room full of niggas who has less fortunate because shit got took from them. And then you redlined them and you threw them all in one neighborhood and then you taught them to hate themselves. Then you took the food from them. Then you put them on Section 8. Then you kicked the father out the home. I just want to see the meeting. This is systematic. I don't care what nobody says.
I agree with that.
It is.
I agree with that. I mean,
then don't let one of us be doing better than everybody else.
but BMU, that's a good question. Why would that meeting? Let's say that meeting happened, right? But do we rebuild to say $1 trillion or billions of dollars that we lost, or do we say how do we begin to build when we start earning $1 and turn it into something that maybe a few generations from now can have something that's $1 billion? Do you know what I'm saying? Because what I'm saying to you, I know you don't like this. The money that we lost, we're not getting that back. I hear it's horrible to say we're not getting that back, but that doesn't mean we can't rebuild something for the future, right? And of course, it will be minus the fact that we shouldn't start from the beginning again, but it's almost like that's where we are. But today we got people who are freer than the people who were back then, and look what they did, right? Look what they did, man. So if they were able to do that with all the shackles and shit around them, man, what can we do with all the free thinkers that we have now? I mean, I'm just saying we get it back from what they've lost. And you just said something too. The person who had the paperwork was able to get some restitution for what was stolen from them. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. They use the courts to do it because they have some proof. But a lot of places that shit is lost. That shit is lost, and somewhere we're never going to find it. But there is litigation that has gone on that made restitution for some of the atrocities that happened to small amounts of black people. When I think you gave the example yourself. So I'm just saying, but we're never going to get all of that back. I mean, I shouldn't say never. That shouldn't be the starting point. If I don't get all that back, that means I can't move. Let me put that. Let me put it that way. If we don't get all that they took from us back, that means we can't move. That can't be the solution, right? I mean, we could be hurt about it. We could be mad about it, which is fair, and all of that kind of stuff. And we could be informed about how they did it and how we can make sure that if we ever to build something again, we could protect it. We could protect it better. It's a different world now. It's a different world now. And I think we're stronger because it's a different world. Even under, I think we could be. Let me put it to you that way. I think we could be. With all the levels of weapons that's out there, not just ones that kill, but all the levels of government and weapons. I think we know how to wield some of those better than the guys back then, because they had no leverage.
You know what I love? I love AI. You know, AI will come up with some real shit in a couple of seconds. AI says here, the loss of land has a profound impact on the ability of Black Americans to build generational wealth, even to this day, since 1912. Let me continue.
Okay.
It says it is called the Great Black Dispossession. And it is called that because it's considered to be the most gross and grotesque factor in the current racial wealth gap between African Americans and white people. It says, and then it got an important note down here. It says it's important to recognize that the term stolen, this AI now, I ain't typed this shit. It says it is important to recognize that the term stolen can be accurately described the historical and systematic injustices that led to the loss of this land, which occurred through discriminatory practices, violence, exploitation, and legal loopholes to steal land from African American people, according to the Land Trust Alliance. The government has already admitted. So government admitted it. Don't you think the government should say, God damn, our pain, your great grandmama owned this land. We sorry. You know your land back.
Yeah.
Because you promised us 40 acres in a mule. Motherfucker, you gonna promise us something that we already own?
You know, I mean, it sounds like they should be, but you know what? Come on, man. You know, how many people got a claim against the people who took their land? You know, shit, the Palestinians get exterminated because they ain't giving back the land that they own. The Indians could never get their land back. So, I mean, you know, I hear you. And you're absolutely right. It's just, I'm just saying the government, what government? The one that we have right now? Shit, governments all over. They ain't giving nobody shit. You know, not us. So they just spent 20 million people in the country so they can replace them.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scam.
Yeah, go ahead, Scam. I mean, you're right, though, man.
How can I say it?
They're not going to do it, but go ahead, Scam.
I think there needs to be a planning department. And the planning department should not, how can I say it? It should be holistic. You see the whole problem, the whole everything that's going on in the world with the people. Not just picking the pieces we want and skipping some of the most important. If you fix the whys, and I'm talking about people development before it gets to the whole supremacy thing. People development comes first. If you're going to have a war, which I'm not saying war is everything, that's not it. The first thing you got to do is train the soldiers. Don't just go outside. I mean, but there's core values. And there's things to get people from where they are to just the next level up. And then repeating that process to get the people to the next level up. But as it appears, when there's a lot of we got to go and do this and get all this, some of it's unrealistic. Some of it becomes the very thing that it is complaining about. To where it becomes in that meeting. Well, I'll never show up to that very meeting. It's because 90% chance is going to be the same people coming in there the same way. No people development and no planning. And then what they really came to do is argue with other black people about black. And they're doing the very thing that they're complaining about. We can get some land. Okay, what are we doing with the land we already have? What are you doing in your apartment? How much land do you need? If you ain't got nothing going on, you're probably going to screw up that other land just like you do in the nasty apartment ain't clean in 6 weeks. People development comes first. If you fix problems 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it makes it way easier to fix 67, 93, 126. But 1 through 5, then 6 through 10. And and you'll find it way easier and more, and you'll find so much more stuff just happening to where that conversation might be an hour, 2 hours, and be productive versus being the very destruction that people complain about.
Some of y'all ain't worthy of having this conversation.
Oh,
So you're about to prove my very point, I assume.
I'm from Black Wall Street, motherfucker, so watch your tongue.
Are you about to prove my point?
I'm from North Tulsa, motherfucker. So watch your tongue.
Are you about to prove my point?
You already proved your own point, Coon. So the thing is, some of y'all not
There
fit
it
to have
goes
this
right
conversation.
There it
You're
goes
not.
right there.
This brother came in, shown what this brother needed.
That's why I'll never be here.
Is a therapeutic build with his brothers.
That's
Everybody
why.
who come in here
You're my brother.
negating, talking about you use the word complain like 3 times. Well, that's what people complaining about. A black person is not complaining when they bring forth this history. A black person is not complaining. This should be something that affects you. But if it don't affect you and you can just get over it so easily, perhaps you ain't supposed to be having the conversation. Perhaps you're one of those skin folk that ain't kin folk. If you just wish people just move the fuck on.
But this is why lost in translation.
And that's not even nothing that I
We
said.
need to educate each other. That's why you say we need to educate.
Before educate, can we at least have some empathy and not be so swift to put the fucking Negro blinders on and shit? What the fuck? What's up with these Negro blinders? Y'all niggas gonna keep them shits, huh?
But he's talking about stuff I didn't even say.
All right, everybody, come on, keep going. It don't matter what they do.
You just saw that I was black. You're the very person that came to go find some black people because you're scared a white man gonna whoop your ass.
It ain't got nothing to do with scared the white man or what?
You're looking, like I said.
Talk about the system, man. Talk about the system.
Like I said, problems 1 through 5. You skip over them. Let's go all the way to this, and let me go find the black person because they won't do and say what I want to hear. Coon blackity other.
What would you tell Mama Sylvia if you were talking to Mama Sylvia out of North Tulsa? What conversation would you tell her when she shares with you what her account is? 115, 114, 115. And it's never left. No, nigga, I want to lie. Yeah, I want the truth.
You want the truth, or you just want to keep talking shit?
No.
So
I'm the black truth if you got one.
Let me get the super chat real quick. Lost in Translation said, "Thank you, Lost, for the $10 super chat." He said, "Put your money where your mouth is. We need more free doers than free thinkers."
Okay.
Facts. It's all about that worship, not worship.
And I asked that question a lot too, Rogus, though. Like, if you were to sit down with somebody that survived Tulsa and they told you what happened, like, what would you say to that person?
He couldn't have a conversation. That's the thing. That's why I said that's why everybody is not worthy of having this conversation.
What do you know about a conversation when you ask a question, then answer it with a bunch of lies and bullshit, and you weren't listening to nothing I said and accused me of stuff I didn't say?
What would you say?
You just saw that I was black and wanted to argue.
What would you say? What would you say to Mama Sylvia? That's what I want to know. What would you say to her?
Here's my answer. I wouldn't. There's your answer.
You wouldn't say nothing.
Why?
Why?
Because if I can't help with the problem, because I don't know who this is and what they're going, that might not be my lane. If it's not, I would let somebody who can have that conversation.
Son, go ahead and educate him on who she is.
Nah,
don't bother. No, don't. Because I already know what it is.
You need to. You can't listen.
No,
Scam. You can't
ignore. Trying to pin me into what y'all want me to hear.
He's not trying to pin you nothing. He's just trying to. He's trying to educate you, man.
He's not.
So go ahead and explain. Because here's the thing. I know who she is.
Yeah,
I know who she is. So, son, if you can go ahead and do us a favor and explain to everybody, and not just Scam, who she is and why she's important.
Well, why don't you go talk to her?
Mama Sylvia is one.
Just hold on one second. The foundation was cracked from the beginning. The way he came at the brother Scam, it's gonna be hard for him to receive it in an education.
There's nothing to receive.
Nobody trying to change his.
You actually heard what I said.
Nobody trying to change his mind. His mind is already made up every time he get up on here.
You actually heard what I said.
And then they rob a liquor store. I ain't forget about that, yo, coon ass nigga. And then they go rob a liquor store.
You actually heard what I said.
Yeah, I'm
You
just
heard
new
it.
here, and I'm you know
He
I know
just
he's
saw
letting
that he
everybody
has
speak. He
nothing
just
better to
came straight
do
at him. I'm
but
like,
fight with
whoa.
black people,
Oh no.
which is
No.
doing.
I
You
came.
got
No,
nothing better to
I
do.
came up to
You're
deliver
doing
you
the
some
white
Mac
man's
right.
Hold on a
work.
second,
I came
y'all.
up to deliver you some
Hold on a
Mac
second,
right,
y'all.
and are paying for being dismissive. But the
Roguish,
way
hold on
the
a
way that
second, Roguish.
BMU shared this didn't need nobody being dismissive to him.
Roguish, give me a second. I want to address what AC said. AC, here's the situation, man. Whenever somebody brings something to the table here, what we want to do is we want to address it right then and there, so we don't keep dragging it on because we only got so many minutes to talk about it. So my thing is this: when somebody says something up here, we make them back it up. You see what I'm saying? We don't let people just say stuff and then move the goalposts. That's not what we do. If you introduce something to the table, now it's time for us to discuss it. And then after that, we move on. It's not being dismissive. It may look crazy on the outside to everybody else, but I assure you, we're going to get back to the original conversation. We just want to make sure we address the issue that's on the table. When somebody brings something to the table, we're going to address it and fix it, then move on. Does that make sense?
You know what dismissive is?
Okay. All right.
Dismissive is skipping when somebody's saying, hey, we need to worry about problems 1 through 5. And then skipping it to go and say, coon, blackity black. The very thing I said, why I wouldn't show up to the meeting. Let's skip all that.
Invited to the meeting.
Let's
If
skip
anybody
the
were to
black
come
on
around,
black and
you wouldn't
everything
get the
being
initial
you. The
invite.
very things y'all said. Let's skip y'all's own words.
Anybody having conversation with you, you wouldn't
So
be
how-
invited
how-
to the
skip
meeting.
all that.
Scam though. Let me ask Scam a
I have
question.
a question
all
for
that.
everybody.
Hold
And
up.
engage
I've
in the
been in
very thing you
grassroots
complain
community
about.
groups.
So Scam, let me ask you a
I've
question.
worked in grassroots community groups. If
Roguish,
somebody
I'm
were
gonna
to
let you cook.
approach
I'm gonna let you cook,
you
Roguish.
wouldn't
Hold
be
on, Roguish. I'm
invited
gonna
to
let
the
you cook.
meeting.
I'm
I
actually
have
I'm
a
gonna let you
question
cook,
for
Roguish.
everybody.
But listen, Scam, I'm asking you a question. How do, as a black people, as a people who have experienced major loss, how do we recover to get back to that place?
You may not recover and get back to your place. How do you do what's best with what you got and who you are?
And that ain't a lot. We got less than 1% of land now.
Okay.
Ain't
Okay,
a
there's
lot.
land. There's land. What's problems 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Or are we gonna just fixate on these other things? And those very things, 1 through 5, is why you can't even have a freaking meeting in the first place. But we're just gonna dismiss them and go straight to the one, and then try to force everybody. And if you don't hear what I say the way I want to say it, something wrong with you, and you ain't black enough.
Well, let's let the brothers'
Let's skip
perspective
1
right
through
here.
5. Those ain't important.
Let's let BMU's perspective be considered
Right.
the objective one, right?
And the
let's
truth
say
is,
the majority of your people are
the
coming into
truth
some
is, you are the
information
very
of some
dismissive
historic
thing.
trauma that they
You're
weren't
the
privy
very thing
to.
that you complain about.
What is
And
the
I'm watching it
humanity
real
supposed
time.
to feel? Where is your humanity and your empathy when someone delivers something that is earth-shattering to them like that?
Why don't you
What-
show me
You
how
know
it's
what?
done?
Pick, bootstrap. You one of those black people that be like, yo, bootstrap. You don't have the empathetic ear. You don't have the empathetic
You're
shoulder.
doing it right now. You're doing the very
I'm
thing you
doing
complain
what? That's
about.
why I say you wouldn't be included to the meeting. You're not worthy of having a conversation because you don't have the prerequisite empathy
You're
that
proving
it
it right
takes
now.
to even be within
You're
the space.
proving it right now. You're doing it
You
right now.
disconnect yourself
Live.
from the history, so you're
You are
disconnected.
the very thing that you complain about.
You're disconnected. How about that? Excommunicated from the history. How about that?
You're the very thing that you
How
complain
about
about.
that?
So
You are.
AC, I see.
And
I
you're
see
doing
you
it
now.
right now.
What's on your mind, AC?
I
wouldn't have
understand
a
we have.
conversation with her.
I understand we have different views.
And hit the red X,
Mark.
Buster.
Oh no, I said I understand we have different views. The receiving part. Well, that's what we talked about earlier. Just being able to talk and then listen without jumping on somebody. You can feel the way you feel about that person, and I also accept what Lost in Translation said when he said, we jump on. That's fine to jump on, but the name calling and all that, we all grown men here. You can feel how you want to feel, but address it in a more respectful way for others. No, and me speaking particularly because I'm new. Everything was good and informational until we got to this point. And it's like, okay,
All right. And
we
what
all
have
our own
you been
opinions.
connected to in your history to where you felt some passionate connection like that to defend on some instant shit? I'm from North Tulsa, cuz saturated in Black Wall Street, seeing all of the ramifications there with the people who are still of that mindset, those who had the fear, the way that black people would put those social nuances together when they do the different engagement with these Peckerwoods as opposed to black people. It's like I've been watching that since I was a child, right?
So to hear,
hold on, BMU. So you're well versed in, son. What you're saying?
Right, exactly. So and I'm well versed when knowing somebody's out of pocket with it, and they're not worthy to even speak on it.
Educate us, son. Don't jump on him because he's misinformed. Because he doesn't.
He's not misinformed. He out of pocket every time I'm up here. Cause
are you
real.
from North Tulsa, Scan? Are you from North Tulsa?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You from North Tulsa as well?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
North Tulsa.
Why would you give?
Do you have the same information as he has, as son has? Are you as well versed as him?
The nation has the nation has the information on Black Wall Street.
AC. Here's the real truth. I said something.
Right after him,
it made sense. Mm-hmm. Problems 1, 2.
I get that.
3.
I get that.
But skip the real stuff.
In order. I get that.
Let's skip the stuff that matters and those very things that help prepare you to be able to go and do the things that you complain about. Let's skip those. They ain't important because I said it and I'm white all of a sudden because he didn't like it. Let's skip all those things.
Call you white. Nobody call you white. That's your own hoe, cuz you good. And nobody call you white.
Let's skip all that. And let's just do what we want to do and keep saying the same thing people have been repeating that ain't even been working. Let's just keep doing that.
You couldn't even show empathy to the brother who presented the context without being dismissive.
I said what I said, and the very dismission that people complain about, you just saw them do it. The very thing about Blackity, we got to stick together, we hurt each other, you just saw it happen live. Everything they complained about, you just watched it.
They, again. You good.
Okay, starting mainly you.
You good. Stop it.
You just did
Stop it.
You're talking about a meeting.
You was dismissive. You was dismissive. You was dismissive. You was dismissive to BMU, and our pain was dismissive to BMU.
So let's get
Hold on a second, y'all.
Hold on,
Black man, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach Ferg, we're gonna get you, and then we'll get Beans in here. Go ahead, Coach Ferg. You had your hand up.
You know, BMU, you asked a great question, right? And my brother came with some knowledge, right? And when I think about my ancestors and the people that inspired me through our history, the one thing, the one message that I took for them was never give up. The hell I'm gonna give up in this life for? I'm too strong for that. I never, you know what I'm saying? I understand. Hell, I've been called white boy and old yellow, mellow yellow by people that look like me with big nose and big lips that might have been uglier than me. But the point is, right, I would think that anybody who went through that subjugation far more than we did, we fight ourselves. Now, I would think any of them would say never give up, never give in. I would never do that. I would never tell my son to give up in the world. No, he got to go create a path so he can come back and tell me how he's conquered different things. Everybody's path ain't going to be immediate success. But you can't spend the prime of your life 20 to 40 complaining about shit. When you wake up in the brain, you got to put your body to the movement too. That's when you can build and create. We know the history. Some of it, you didn't get it in y'all slow schools. If y'all went to public school, y'all ain't getting none of that shit, but you're getting it now. It don't matter what age you are. Some of the strongest men in the Bible were in their 40s. What are we talking about? We act like, everybody's righteous path ain't gonna be on the same wavelength. When that third eye come on, you have to be willing to move accordingly, not be afraid to be a lone wolf. You're going to have to make life-changing decisions that ain't got nothing to do with your friends or your family. You're going to have to. And I say it all the time. I'm waiting on the brothers to show up with the young folk. Because education ain't got a whole lot of black men in there. While these young boys in there ain't even trying to learn nothing. Got the lowest levels of reading. That could be a shift for the generations behind us. But as a generation that's like F everything, F the world, it is what it is. That's cool. But at some point, when that third eye come on and you wake up, usually about 35 to 40, you have to be willing to step outside your comfort zone. It's life changing. If not, You just standing in people's way. That's the way I see it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna
currently
prepare
has
my
the
soldiers.
mind
hold on,
values
hold
of
on.
some other you.
Now, let me say this. But if we had that, that $1 trillion, we wouldn't have to worry about reading because we'd be teaching our own kids.
BMU, prior to the crack, there were a lot of families in the inner cities. They aunties and grandmamas owned property. They owned houses. A lot of people were selling their family's property off for $3,000 or $4,000 worth of non-paid taxes. The houses were owned by these people who were going through the early 1900s. Most of them living in the cities. They had, well, it's almost when you go, it's like 2-3 apartments now. Some of them made apartments out of them. They owned these properties. People were giving them away for pennies on the dollar to chase something that really could have been generational changing now. The money would have transferred, and now with inflation, people could probably have $300,000 or $400,000 homes. But they sold them because when the grandparents passed away, the people who worked in cleaning white people's houses, the people who breastfed their kids, they was leaving here with money, cash money. Motherfuckers is broke today, but we the freest and got more information. It just makes no sense to me.
The way that this nation utilizes money is no healthy measurement of even having money. This is the issue with you older generation. Y'all let America define what is healthy and what is value to you, cuz, for real.
You old too.
Yeah, you goddamn right, but I got my damn mind on right and not letting these evil motherfuckers who we know will sabotage us on the systematic level be my framework of what's healthy for my community, what's healthy for the direction of my culture, or the inertia of our social development. Are you kidding me? Everything you always hear from you older generation is that, you know what, just grind. Just grind. You know what I'm saying? No different from these young niggas out here that y'all always complain about, who's like, get money, my nigga, get money. Get money, my nigga, get money. That's just another version of that. What you should have to do is reassess how you value and how your culture values across the board. Not just try to find a new method to deal with the goalpost moving, because that shouldn't be your goal. Your goal is supposed to be something that is subjective. The same thing that it is for America. But no, y'all like to think that there's some objective goal here that anybody can get if they just strive hard to be an American, all that old bullshit. Are you kidding me? You're still selling yourselves that lie.
All right, Roger, hold on. Beans, go ahead.
Niggas gonna be struggling for help.
I don't know.
Take your time, Beans. Take your time.
Not like, because honestly, I don't think that this panel in particular, outside of the guy next to me, I don't think people on this panel are just disingenuous. I think even the guy next to me, I think, has good intentions. But it almost seems like people don't think, they just talk, right? So I give you an example. Oh man, you this many years old, you that many years old, you should have been did this. And then in the next breath, man, it's never too late. This guy in the Bible was 137 years old before he got his shit together. Well, why are you telling me that I should have been got my shit together? Which one is it? Is it 40 or is it 137? Right? This is what I mean. Like, people just be talking to be talking. And honestly, I hate being a part of those kind of conversations, man. I don't know when thinking became frowned upon, right? I literally was just saying on my show that trauma, people don't understand. You might get shot, I might get stabbed, but the trauma of those events can affect us the exact same way. So you thinking, man, you all right, you just got stabbed, I got shot. Yeah, okay, that's true. But you was in the commission of a crime. Somebody drove me in the alley and poked me up robbing me. It probably was you. Right? Like, I'm being facetious, but I'm just saying, like,
Trauma is trauma. It don't matter what you went through. It affects us all the same. If you got trauma, that's what it is. So stop telling these people who come from this place that you call the most traumatized place on earth, right? The hood, gangs, bullets, cops, deadbeat dads,
redlining,
prostitute mothers,
food deserts,
dope fiends, alcoholics, PDF files, paraphernalia all on the ground, right? And I'm just talking about what we do. I ain't even talking about racism, white supremacy, systemic oppression, school to prison pipeline, to BMU's point, red light. I ain't even talking about that stuff. I'm just talking about what we see, the shit that we actually know exists. Stop telling these people what once they hit 18, ain't no more excuses. Oh, it was a black president, ain't no more excuses.
Hey, podcast, I got a question for you. But go
Absolutely, go ahead. Thank you for cutting me off because I don't like being.
No, I'm saying go ahead. Finish. I was saying
I'm dead serious because I get mad when other people be long-winded, but I know I can do it too. So.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ask your question. I'm serious.
Okay. I get what you're saying. And there's me when I'm having a conversation, and there's me in the dust off. Those are two totally different people. Mm-hmm. In a real conversation, is it a fair thing to go to somebody who's maybe in an area, because I'm not trying to judge and pick at people. Somebody might be a 2. And I'm asking them, hey, can you work on this so you can get to a 3? Or hey, you're a 6. Can you work on this to get to a 7? But first, understanding where they are, meeting them where they are. And then can you get from here just to right over there? Is that something that's fair to do?
Yes.
And I can see why, and I was just going to also say, I can see why you get frustrated when people just look at you. Man, how old are you? What you got? Man, you ought to have, because they just made $100,000 last year. You making $99,000. Shame on you. You ain't doing it right. Trust me, I get it. That's all I got. Continue.
Well, but you got to understand though. So I'll tell you how I look at it, right? I'm a pessimist. It is what it is. I think the universe has shown me that I have a limit. No matter how hard you try, I got 1,200 videos on my channel. So if anybody want to try to tell me I don't be trying, I got a whole ass they can kiss, right? Like, and if you do shorts, that shit damn near take longer than doing lives, right? Because you're trying to edit and stuff and pull other videos and clips in. So I've been grinding in this thing for several years at this point. And YouTube is still saying, no, not you, right? But that is exactly what life has been saying to me for a long time. So if you come to me and you say, hey, man, right now you're a 4, I'm trying to get you to 5, I'm saying, for what point? If the goal is 10 and the universe is saying you're never going to get there.
The universe is a liar.
Something different. All it's going to do is make you happy. I'm going to be a success. I'm going to be a success story for you. So you can go and tell everybody else, look, I got him from a 4 to a 5. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to still be unhappy because the goal for me is 10. And why is the goal for me 10? Because my mama need me to be 10. My son need me to be 10. My daughter need me to be 10. Any woman I want in my life wants me to be a 10. My family, brothers and siblings and cousins, everybody else, friends, people on social media, YouTube partners, they need you to be 10 because they want you to hit the cash out. And they want you to hit the super chat.
Podcast, 2 things. Number 1, you got to get to 5 to get to 10. It's on the way. And 2, them people talking about that 10, they lying. They're freaking liars and they know it.
I don't see it that way.
They're lying and they know it and you know it.
No, wait, let me address that you got to get the 5 to get the 10 point. What I'm saying is the assumption is that I've never been a 5. Right? That's what I'm trying to get you to realize. I've been a 5. I've been a 6. I've been everything but a 10. Right? I just can't get, when I get close to it, the universe will be like, boy, if you don't get your dumb ass back, I told you no. Not you.
So you put it on the universe.
I want to show y'all something. I want everybody to pay attention to this. that sounds like I'm pessimistic, right?
No,
that sounds like I have a defeated attitude.
You could have an acute observation though as well.
Right? But why is that? And that's the point. Why not address the fact 1,200 videos?
Yeah.
I can take you, and ain't nobody just out here just outdoing me on the video. I mean, niggas might have cuter backgrounds or whatever, but come on, right? It's me. So I'm just saying, like, I have put in work in different areas in my life. YouTube, club, jobs, pimping, drugs. It was always, you get right here, bow, slap your ass down. This is as far as I'm letting you go. So what the fuck I'm supposed to do? Keep arguing with the universe?
Hey, I just want to put on the universe like that, because that means you're denying. That means you're denying the social matrix. And if you deny the social,
he knows what I know.
That, then that's the issue.
He know me he knows what I mean when I was saying that.
I see why you say that.
All right, so let me read this part. This is Sean D. Rochester's "The Black Tax: The Cost of Being Black in America." It's a financial empowerment series, right? I think it's book 2. This one is The Black Tax. It is a short summary from 1619 to present. I think the copyright on this is 2017, right? Now it says over 70 trillion of resources was extracted from and or not provided to African Americans, which effectively destroyed Black Americans' ability to accumulate wealth and leave a substantial legacy for our children's children. Let's take a look at the numbers. They are a frightening and sobering look at how pervasive and systematic discrimination and biases have taxed and negatively affected Black America. So from slavery, 1619 to 1865, $50 trillion. Present value of Black labor in 1860, $22 trillion. We already had 77 trillion. Homestead Act, 1862 to 1935, 1.6 trillion. Sharecropping, Jim Crow Society, 1870 to 1935, 15 trillion. Great economic expansion, 1935 to 1965 for labor, 4.4 trillion. Education, 2 trillion. Housing, 1.75 trillion. Right, so we already pretty much over 100 trillion. Now, if you do the math, let's say that you say that reparations are at 300 trillion, right? For 40 million Black people, that equates to only one payment of $15 million. And these motherfuckers can sneeze at $15 million. So let's say that based off of what our cultural measurement would be, right? How will we accumulate that loss? So this is the dollar loss by way of U.S. dollars and way of U.S. information, right? Do we have our own cultural measurement of what a monetary, adequate monetary response would be, an adequate infrastructure, ease of infrastructure navigation response would be, right? They don't always have to be in monetary. They could create a new credit line. They could create legislation, which they just refuse to do. That don't cost no money for these motherfuckers to do legislation.
We don't stand as one. Why would they do it?
Hey, Black man, I got a question, but go ahead, Beans. Black man, I got a question for you in a minute.
So the answer to your question is no, right? Like we can't make it up. But here's the thing: even if we could, they wouldn't allow for it, right? So that again, this is my point, right? We want people to keep bumping their heads against the wall for what, right? Like it just doesn't make any sense. One of the reasons why I was getting frustrated when Coach Ferg was talking is because he was talking about these people who sold off property. Well, damn, you wanted them to wait around for it to get took? Like, what you want them to do? They look around and they seeing all these. See, you get frustrated, but it's true.
No, I'm talking about the 2000s. I ain't talking about the 17, 18, 1900s. I'm talking about in the 2000s. We again, it's not about, saying, yes, it's always going to be there. We know that. None of us modern smart people.
Man. That's what I mean.
Man. Listen.
I think you're being disingenuous. In the 2000s, you're trying to make it seem like there was this vast majority of Black people.
Not just the 2000s. It was all over the last 60 years. Ever since they gave us welfare, we dismantled.
See what I'm
People
saying?
were
So which
coming.
one is it? Is it the 2000? Because you just said that. Now you're saying over the
I
last.
know the black people wasn't talking about they was gonna take it. They was gonna die if they took it. They had it. They built it. I'm trying to see where people go build it, even for yourself. I wouldn't. If I believe that they was gonna take it, I'm gonna prepare myself so when they come, I'm ready to defend what I built. That's all I'm saying. Somebody has to do it.
Even when you
have to do it for yourself.
Yeah, but y'all want people to martyr themselves, and I'm not.
No, I don't. I'm gonna martyr myself for mine. So it ain't about martyr yourself for the group. You got to start with your own.
It's okay. What I'm saying is this: even if you go back to the '60s, what I'm saying is they couldn't maintain drugs. It's the same thing they doing now. They can't maintain it. That's the point. People go out now and buy houses just so they can say they ain't renting, and then within 5 years they foreclose it because they really couldn't afford it
because they over budgeted
to maintain it, right? So what I'm saying is it was the same thing then, right? They was trying to integrate so badly because of the fact that they couldn't maintain those structures without the white dollar. They felt like they needed the white dollar in order for them to be able to
but one when integration started, they abandoned their own economic markets. We had our own market.
You got to remember this. The March on Washington was literally named the March on Washington for jobs, right? Jobs and freedom, but for jobs. Because these people at that point were still trying to get into positions where they could have better paying jobs, right? So, because now if we have better paying jobs and we're making more money, then I could probably spend more money in my community where we could actually maintain these businesses. You see what I'm saying? I don't know where y'all grew up at. I'll ask y'all, but when I grew up, the corner store, the little fake grocery store that used to be there, you know, we had Jewels and Dominic's, but it used to always be like that one little neighborhood grocery store. Like the candies, like none of that shit wasn't owned by black people.
Right, but you from Chicago. Chicago's a black mecca, so that's not that you can't utilize that as an average standard.
So you saying in majority of places where black people were at, they own the grocery store, they own the corner store, they own the hardware store?
Yes, that is the experience for most people who actually live in black cities like that. Yes.
That's good for y'all then, I guess. What happened?
What happened is integration happened.
Crack changed the game.
And let me help y'all out for scholarship, man. This is what's going on. What Beans is talking about is absolutely correct, and I'm going to show you where he's correct. What happens is that people will go out and they'll get these houses, right? The first year, taxes, whatever it is, maybe $2-3 grand. All right. Now, once they stay in these homes, maybe for about a good 5 years, they'll go back and they'll reassess the land or the property. And they say, oh, your home is now worth double what you paid for it. So now your mortgage then went up, you know what I'm saying, triple. So now your taxes went up because of that. So what happens is these people realize, my mortgage is no longer affordable because they only calculated. They didn't really calculate a whole year's worth of taxes. They just let it slide that first year when I first got my mortgage. But once that real tax came back in, they put it back in escrow. Of course, you got to pay your taxes. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden, their mortgage is no longer manageable, and these people are giving up their houses. And what he's saying is that these people are it's better for them to go ahead and get from up under that house now than for somebody to come back and take it and they get nothing for it. And to allude to what Trey Ferg was talking about, in Trey Ferg's situation, those houses were already owned outright by the grandparents. You see what I'm saying? And what happens is those people didn't maintain the taxes on those, whether or not it increased or not. But the newer ones are the ones that increased. They're the ones that are getting people evicted. Is because they didn't calculate or tell these people, hey, in about 5 years, your mortgage is going to be this. Prepare for it. They have already been set aside. You know, I'm going to pay my little $2,000 a month for my mortgage or whatever. Now, all of a sudden, it's $4,000. That's a problem. You see what I'm saying? So what Beans was saying is absolutely correct. Go ahead, Beans.
Don't forget about this part, too, though. They don't be prepared to take care of the repairs either.
Correct.
Man, that roof, $14,000, $15,000, $16,000, and just for if you do got insurance for them to tell you they don't cover it, the AC, furnace, and all that type of stuff be going. Man, I'm telling. I've watched my mom. My mom been in her house for like 8 years now, bro. She done had to come out of pocket for almost every fucking thing. while paying insurance. They all
You know what, Beans? You know what else? Who else is suffering from that too? You remember maybe back in the early 2020s, 2021s, where these people had all these Airbnbs and they were making money hand over fist. But what happened was the city came back and said, "Oh, you know what? Since you guys want to act like a hotel, we're going to charge you hotel taxes."
But here's
now these people are upside down in their property in these Airbnbs, and now they're going to have to get up off of those properties and they're going to throw them back onto the market. Well, what happens is when the market gets flooded with a bunch of inventory, it becomes what? A buyer's market, and these people can't sell it for what they get sold it for, and now these people are upside down, which goes back what Beans said earlier. So he may not have articulated it correctly, but Beans is on the right track. Go ahead, Beans.
No, go ahead, Coach Ferg. I want to hear his response.
No, it's okay. So yeah, in the modern time, right, we're supposed to be smart, right? And I'm just saying most of us are smart, right? Here's the thing though. Yes, every year they will assess the neighborhood community, and there's likely based off inflation. Remember, they give you a little raise, but they raise taxes, right? They raise inflation, right? What most people don't do, they don't appeal the taxes. They don't appeal it. They just let it go. No, it's like when they come and say they're reevaluated. No, you haven't made any improvements. You haven't done anything major. And you can file everything that you put into your home on your taxes. You can do those things. People just have to be better informed when it comes to the property. And over time, as you pay your note, your equity builds. So in 10, 15, and this is why the 5-year catch, that's the 5-year catch. Because most people, when we get the house, we flexing now. We want the new car. We want everything that's going to take us out of our budget. So when those hard times hit, and most of us want to do it by ourselves, I want a house by myself. So when I get it by myself, I'm thinking about just having it, but I ain't thinking about the cost of things and repairs. And for me, a man should be able to be repairing his own home. Yeah. Not major shit, but you should be able to get up on your roof. You should be able to go up in your attic, get the fucking rats out of your basement. You should be able to put little pieces. That's just me. That's how I've always lived. When it comes to me, I never had a problem buying a home. I never had a problem maintaining it, but I do follow the rules and laws that they're for. I go appeal shit. I'm writing and go appeal it. Then you get back, you be approved, and they don't raise your taxes, but they're going to do that every year. And that's just taxes. But the thing is, even if you got a yard, do you garden your yard? Or do you get somebody to cut your grass, or do you cut it yourself? Over time, it pays itself back. But again, if we keep doing it individually, I would think every man should get a house. You ain't got to get the brand new house. It might need a little work. But if you got some good buddies, hey man, I got some chicken and the grill going. We got some beers over here. I need y'all to help me put these sidings up, these drywalls up, save the money. That's a skill that's invaluable. But again, I'm old school because I believe in doing that shit myself.
That's not old school. That's stone school. That's foundation. There are some things that we really shouldn't label just on some old school shit. That's foundation. That's stone school. That's something that should be declared essential within our culture, for real. Because the
default to that man, I got a question for you. The father is the greatest default to young boys being able to have that type of mindset to build together. Without the father and the son relationship, everything we talk about is void because we ain't their father.
But they got to know how to do it too, though, right? Like I've been in my kids' life all their life, but I couldn't teach them how to swing a fucking hammer. I didn't. But again,
But see, Biggs, that's what I'm saying. It's also a time. Sometimes we got to learn with our children, and even if I don't know how to do it, I'll just try, and then I realize, oh, you can do it better. So I pay hurt, my wrist hurt, so go and knock that out for me. Give them the experience, and then over time it builds from there. See, we talk a lot, but sometimes you can just play like you don't know. You know what I'm saying? And hell, they'll pick it up because they want to impress. But
yeah, I think. What's your question, again, I think the bigger point is that if you already said we need to do it together. I don't know what that looks like if we're not doing the marriage thing. I guess it looks like how I see a lot of these Mexicans living together and shit. Guys, 3-4 guys living together, living alone, you know, all working and sharing bills, working at the same place, essentially, I assume. You know, I don't think we're gonna do that. Like we've been here too long. We are inbred into this Western American rich-minded fabric. We think that we believe our life. I'm gonna say we because I'm included in this too. We believe it's either poor or rich. Ain't no in between, right? Like I want to be rich or I'm just gonna be poor, right? And so to me, I don't see, to be honest, I just don't see a fix. Again, even if you whatever you came up with, I think historically we've been shown that it's not our place in this country to get to that point. That's why I hate when people say, when are we gonna catch up to white people? You mean the people that outnumber us by 5? They outnumber us by 5. Like no matter what your plan is, we can't catch up to them.
If they are the goal measure, that's already the issue. They shouldn't. The only way that they should be a factor is if they're in your way. And if they're in your way, then you make the acknowledgement that, all right, they're in the way. They need to be either neutralized or moved the fuck out of the way. Other than that, your goal should be to reach a thriving state. That should be your goal. Now, we already know America ain't cool with that. We know white people ain't cool with that. We know this government is not cool with thriving black communities. No matter how y'all might want to feel and embrace this whole ass country, it does not want to see your community in a thriving state. And you have to acknowledge that, whether you love it or not.
Absolutely. So what are you asking, are you saying people need to do it individually then?
Individually? No, yeah. You can't. No, you can't do it individually because the other people ain't here as an individual. Look, we should be the easiest monolith to ever form an aggregate, right? The easiest monolith based off of just the fact of how anti-black this society is, and it shows us there shouldn't be no ifs, ands, or maybes about what could potentially befall any other sister or brother who share the skin color. This is why we have the issues that we have with the so-called, diasporan folk who also might share the skin color, but it's like, oh, you can't empathize to a degree just because of this alone. No, their tribalism is way too strong for them. Everybody else's tribalism is way too strong for them to have that objective empathy for us that we would have in another people's land if we were to be able to hit baller status, political influence, or whatever, right? And see their have-nots being systematically fucked with. There's no way that we wouldn't have the reflexive empathy and be able to gather that understanding. But with us, people who share the very same skin color, maybe even darker than us, right, and all that, they ain't got nothing to do with me. So the thing is, it's not us that's in the wrong, or it's not them that's in the wrong. Everybody else is tribing up like that. That is what you encounter from all Asians, Africans, Arabs, you know what I'm saying, Americans, whether they're indigenously here or not, and whoever else that there could be. That is what you are encountering. We are the only one who ain't tribed up. The entirety of the world is. Even these pilgrims is under whiteness, right? Even though it's a social construct, they're tribed up under that shit.
That's not true.
They're divided.
Now, let me say this real quick. I agree, and Scam, I'll let you ask you a question right after this. I agree with Beans. You know how Beans was breaking down? Every time I get to a certain point, I get my ass slapped down. I agree with you. Black people own the most land in the world, in America, in American history. Beans, I don't know if you was listening. 19 million acres of farmland. They said it here. It's the highest point at Black people land ownership in United States history. Now we own less than 1%. Knocked down. Tulsa, 5 churches, 2 movie theaters, bowling alley, clothing stores, burned down, knocked down. Oscarville, Georgia, flooded. Central Park, taken, made a park, kick them out. No matter what. The Devil's Bowl, Mississippi. You kill those people after they were free, buried them. And now the white man bought the land, and all the bodies that's under the land through the roots, it grows some of the most juiciest and beautiful peaches ever. And the white folks own it. They just sell the peaches. And no matter what we've done, history has shown When we step up the ladder, as soon as we get to the roof, there's a steel toe boot kicking your ass in the face, knocking your ass right back down to the ground. So when people say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, go ahead. And by the time you get up there, they're gonna kick. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna share some with y'all. I wish I could have just screenshot and put it on the screen, but I'll tell you. I reached out to a guy. I'm buying a trailer. It's a trailer on my bike. And I reached out to a guy, and he said the price of the trailer, and he said, or best offer. So I gave him an offer. This spite motherfucker gonna message me back and say, I'm gonna read it to you. He messaged me back and said these words to me. And this further lets me know what I'm saying is true. Let me get to this message because I need y'all to hear what this son of a bitch said to me. He said, oh, there it is. Okay. So I gave him the price of the trailer, and I gave him a price. He said, boy, what the fuck? He said, you cheap ass motherfucking nigga. Juneteenth over. Get back to the field and work. That's what he texted me. I said to him, there's no reason for you to be rude over the phone. With that much power and strength, you should definitely do it to my face at a meeting area.
Oh, yes. Let's. Shall we?
He blocked me after
today.
That. He blocked me. Stand for something or fall for anything. My thing is this. I am not going to be, when the shit hit the fan, like lost. Well, you fired me up at the beginning of the show. When the shit hit the fan, I tell them hoes at work. Listen, I'm about to be raw and unfiltered. I tell them hoes at work. It's a dude up there. He just be in their face. He just be listening to him, simp motherfucker. Oh yeah, I think you can, and I believe, and I think you should. And I be looking at him like, you simp bitch nigga. But I told them, they say, yeah, ain't no man like him. That's a good man right there because he likes to listen. I say, yeah, okay. I say, but if that alarm go off in this building and they say there's a threat on this floor, I guarantee you bitches ain't gonna be behind him. You're gonna be looking for a man to get you up out of here.
Find a big black man. I like the white bitches tell their kids.
I'm gonna leave them. Anyway, I just feel like when the shit hit the fan, it's gonna have to be men that step up and say no more. And you're gonna have to stand up and stand in the face. You're gonna have to speak truth to power. And when power get out of line, you just gotta do. Look at January the 6th. Them white folks saying, "Oh, okay, what? Oh, we gonna okay." And the white folks tore that fucking building up.
How do you think black people measure that though? That's all. I always wonder. How do you think black people measures that? Do y'all just do y'all measure it as something that that's just white people, or do you understand that? Look, that is what white is being permitted to mean.
Right? Because let me tell you something. When I go to these gun shows, because I'm a gun, I love guns. I got them everywhere. When I go to these gun shows, and I'm standing in line to go in the gun show, because them lines be long. You don't see no black people hardly. Probably speck here, speck there.
Pilgrims.
But them white men, they got their 10-year-old sons standing in line waiting to get bullets for their gun, or they buying them a gun. Or they got the damn semi-automatics. They got the AK-47s. They got the fucking AR-15s. They got the 938. They got 380s. They buying them for their kids. And they out there at the gun range with their 10-year-old, and your 10-year-old popping her pussy on the hood of a car to a music video.
But that's also their culture. The thing is, their children
if shit hit the fan, we don't even have enough niggas to stand up.
But if black people think shit is sweet in America, if black people think shit is sweet in America to the point to where the American dream is something that's palatable to them, no matter how the hell these greed-feeding ass devils present it to them, then what? That's why I say you don't hate the player, play the game.
If you a black man in America and you didn't got no gun in your house, what the fuck is your purpose? I don't. If you don't have no type of protection in your house, if you don't care, man, listen, I carry everywhere I go except my job, and it's either in my truck or it's in my bike. But if If you're a grown ass man and you don't have no protection for yourself, and you think everything just gonna be, you're just gonna walk around and nobody has no vendetta against you, nobody wants to do anything to you, you're crazy.
How much are they not supposed to believe in the illusion? How much?
Well, I don't believe in that.
I want to answer Bean's question. Before y'all get started, before you get started, Scam, because I see you got a grin, so that question ain't won't be about shit. No way. Beans, I'm going to answer your question earlier.
As a matter of fact, I'll ask you instead.
No. I'm going to show you how I do. I can show you better. I can tell you. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. Now, Beans, I'm going to answer your question earlier. Now, you said, how can you do it by yourself, right? Well, here's the thing. What is something that you do every single day? You eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. What you can do is you can actually start to learn how to garden for yourself. It could be something as small as cucumbers or something that grows quickly, right? Grow that, freeze it, save for something else, learn how to grow something else. You know what I mean? And then over time, even if you don't have land or something like that, you have grow bags, stuff like that. The internet is full of education. Learn how to grow different things for yourself, because that's what we used to do. One way you can save a lot of money is not spend it with somebody else. You don't have to. And what you do is once you grow enough food, you have enough to sustain yourself. And then you can use the money that you would have spent with somebody else on something else that you want to do. That's how you can start out doing small stuff like that on your own. And you don't have to worry about a whole lot of other people, horning in on this, that, and the other. You see what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure I get that out to you because we only have so many minutes left for the show. And I didn't want it to get bogged down by clownery. So I wanted to answer your question.
No, I mean, maybe I misspoke, but my thing is that you can't do it on your own. My thing is that everybody can't do it, whether that's on your own or together.
Right.
Like I told a story earlier, BMU. I heard about this story in Florida where these girls were driving in a car with 3 babies and crashed into a truck. They say that the SVU they were in exploded on contact, and all 6 of them gone just like that.
Right.
And like I said, immediately my first thought was, why do babies deserve that? You're talking about 1-year-olds. Less than one of the babies was only a few months old or something like that. Like, why do they deserve to have a head-on collision with a semi to burn to death? Right? Are we gonna say they didn't pray enough? Like, what is it, right? Because you're gonna tell me that on one hand, you're gonna say, well, all human beings are born into sin, right? But we all know that babies are innocent. If I went to punch a baby, you tell me I was crazy. It's an innocent baby, right?
Why you say deserve?
I'm sorry?
Why do you use the term deserve to describe,
because they didn't deserve it. They didn't earn it.
Right.
They didn't earn that.
Did the 3 mothers deserve it?
I don't know. I just know the babies didn't.
No, I'm saying, but why deserve though? Like why?
Because they didn't earn it. They did nothing to earn that. Nothing.
Okay.
Basically, what he's doing is using it to emphasize gravity of the situation. That's what that is.
It's, to me, definitely. Listen, I'm not a religious person, but I feel that spiritual void. I talked about that when y'all had the guys on here, the Israelites. And I ask questions, right? Because I know the answer, or people gonna say, well, all human beings are born into sin, right? So there's a difference between innocence and sin, right? So they're gonna say, yeah, the babies might have been innocent, but they weren't without sin. Well, why weren't they without sin? Oh, well, because they are human beings. They have the blood flowing through them. So because they had human blood flowing through them, they deserve.
Intention doesn't mean anything. And look, right? once people omit intention, that's when you really truly lost. Because that's what motivates you.
Blood flowing through them, that means that somehow they deserve or earn to die that way. That's right. So here's my thing about that. Even if I was to concede to that, then you would also have to concede that Jesus was also with sin, because he also had human blood flowing through him. It was human blood. You know how I know that? Because they say in the Bible that he bled. Now, unless you're gonna tell me it was cricket's blood, it was goat's blood, it was some kind of magical blood, you're gonna make something up. But he did come through a human being. He did breathe, right? He did feel pain. So that was human's blood, the human blood of a sinful person inside of him. So he had to have been with sin too.
That's only if you view that framework of that paradigm, that paradigm as the framework of reality. That's more an exclusive view and an exclusive point. So who up here you think shares that point?
I'm just trying to make my own. I don't know why you keep interrupting.
No, I'm trying to. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the relevancy of bringing that up when the whole point is past historical traumas, and
no,
and
the
how
point
and
is
how
this.
it, yeah.
The point is this: is that not everybody makes it, and it doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter how hard you try. You could believe in Jesus. You could believe in Allah. You could believe in Buddha, Judaism. It doesn't matter. You could be a 4-month-old baby and you can go head first into a fucking semi truck. It don't matter. If that can happen to a fucking baby, why are we running around this bitch pretending like everybody got a fair chance?
Well, Beans, here's the thing, man. The rain falls on the just and the unjust.
Does it though?
It really does. Sometimes bad stuff happen to good people, and sometimes good things happen to bad people.
Bad people.
You know, ain't no we can do about that. What you can do is what's in your hands. What you can do, and that's
the
it.
Point.
Yeah.
Right. See, that was sarcastic me saying, "Does it though?"
Yeah,
but
I know.
don't miss the point.
Well, go ahead.
The point is that, because I was trying to get you to realize, I'm not saying that an individual can't be successful. I live in a world with LeBron James, right? I live in a world with Michael Jordan. His daddy was 4'1", his mama was 3'2", and somehow he's 6'6", right? So I live in a world with these people. I understand that on an individual basis, you can make it. But even with that being an option, it doesn't mean everybody has a fair chance. Do you believe in destiny? Because I'm starting to. I am at that point where I'm saying, yo, it's some people who ain't gonna make it. And it don't matter how hard they try. It just is
And
what it is.
And what does making it look like by the standards of the society that you in? You mean being a success within the standards of the society that you in?
I'm telling you what it is. Whatever it is, they deem it. Whatever it is they're trying to accomplish, they won't do it.
And let's say that they're social conditioned by the very social environment that they're in to not, you know what I'm saying, to not even be able to achieve the full extent of their potential. This is why you don't.
We all can see.
No, we all can't see that, because you got some people that be dismissive because you have some people who can be highly dismissive to the systematic factors that detrimentally affect everybody and still tell you, pull up your bootstraps. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the history, or you're complaining or something like that.
But that person is gone. So I'm saying we all here right now. We all concede to your point about the social impact. Right?
We're not. I'm not talking just about this panel. What you talking? I'm not just talking about this panel. We're talking society in general.
That point 100 times. I'm just saying, like, we get it that we all are acknowledging that shit has an impact on you. But I'm saying, whether it's the social, whether it's religious, spiritual, whether it's demonic, whether it's, I don't know, bro, a card trick. I don't care what it is. All I'm saying is that not everybody makes it. And when I say make it, I mean whatever that looks like to that individual. Bro, you know what would have been great for me? $4,000 a month. $4,000 a month would be, I would be on here acting like I'm Anton Daniels from AntonDaniels.com.
Yeah, .com. Oh, that's funny.
You wouldn't be able to tell me shit. I'm making $4,000 a month. I can't get to that. 1,200 videos with hours and hours and hours and hours. I put more work into this shit than I ever did any job. And it don't matter if I do pre-records, shorts, lives, don't matter. It don't matter if I'm talking about bitches, drugs, politics. It don't matter. It don't matter if I'm on here dressed up nice or if I'm looking horrible. It don't matter if my videos is in 4K or if the bitch is in 360p. It don't matter.
You could be shadow banned.
Something, even if that's the case. Thank you for saying it out loud, but even if that's the case, that's my point. No matter how hard I work, I can't get past the shadow ban. No matter how hard some people work, they won't get past those social constructs that you're talking about. No matter how hard some people pray, they ain't gonna get past God's destiny for them. It just is what it is. So I'm only saying that because I wanted.
No.
I wasn't saying people can't make it individually because I know too many people that have. I'm just saying not everybody can do it, even on an individual basis. And I shouldn't even say not everybody. I'm saying I don't think the majority of people do. My problem being is that when we talk about economics, they make it seem like, well, the average income in America is that because people are lazy. Really? Wait, 40 hours a week is lazy? Are you insane? Do you understand how much time of your life 40 hours a week is? That's a lot of your life.
It's more like 60 because you gotta take the time to get there and get home. It's more like 60 hours.
Right.
20 hours of a 24-hour day you spend.
Yeah. We got 4 minutes, y'all. Beans, we'll talk about it after the show, man.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's some things we can talk about.
But yeah, guys,
we want to get him in and Trey first. Y'all got 30 seconds, man. Wrap this thing up.
Yeah, this is good, man. I said enough. No, it was a good conversation. But yeah, it's a good conversation. That's all I got to say. So pass it on.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Trey first.
I'm just glad that I'm old. Man. Listen, I'll never tell a brother under my tutelage to ever give up. And there ain't no reason for me to even be in a coach if I'm saying, well, we've been oppressed. But no, never give up. You ain't got to that space, keep fighting. You got to keep fighting. Other than that, shit, get out the way. That's all I can say.
Rogish.
All right, look, when it comes to the unfinished historical business, a lot of that's going to be trauma. It's going to have trauma behind it, right? Black people, they identify themselves and where they fit in ancestrally, if you will, or even in contemporary times in their history, in their own individualism. But the thing is, we do understand that this happened to us as a people, right? So when homie got on here, you get out here out of pocket. I might call him coon a couple of times, right? The thing is, I don't really think nobody really can be coons because we haven't established culturally what it means to be black and what it's supposed to mean to belong to being black. And this is why we're supposed to have that type of perspective, at least develop from a foundation up.
All right, man. I appreciate y'all, man. We're going to kick it in the back so y'all can stay logged in. And we'll have a conversation in the back, man. Continue the conversation. But guys, we appreciate y'all for coming in for another episode of Flipping Tables, man. And we look forward to having another great conversation on next week, man. And we look forward to seeing you guys. Stay tuned for the rest of the week for the rest of the shows. I know Lost in Translation gonna cook again on Thursday. And we'll see y'all then, man. We out. Peace.